Oh, the happiest hour. Thank you so much for tuning in. Very excited. Hope you guys are having a great time. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're excited. Hope you're staying healthy in the coronavirus world that we're all living in. This is the same greeting I give you every day. Of course, started the show prompted by my good buddy, my friend, Lancey Joe, who's going to be on, of course, on every episode of this show. He's a regular. He's a brother. He's a friend. He's really my support. And hopefully you got somebody that you can rely on in your world the way that I can rely on Lancey. Of course, this show every day, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, 11:30 GMT. That goes right out to Rachel Rossino. Thank you so much. I always say your name. I'm always curious how to pronounce your last name, Rachel. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. We got Dylan, Scott, Ashley Air, Lancey Joe. We had some great feedback on yesterday's show with Joy Schanenberger, by the way. Go check it out on YouTube if you haven't seen it. Pour yourself a drink. Let's sit down. Let's have a good time. Let's pretend like we're just hanging out in your living room. We're just hanging out in your living room, everybody. Just you and your drink and my drink and me, your Midwest dad, right here for you. I'm so excited to have you here again today. My good friend Lancey Joe. Lancey, there you are, buddy. How you doing, man? How you feeling
Good.
today? What do you got going on?
I'm still in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so nice what you said up top, Brendon.
About you being my my rock during this time.
Yeah, about me being your Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That was so nice. Seriously.
Well, you're the Michael Jordan to my you know.
You're trying
sports reference.
Sports. You're the Michael Jordan of my sports.
Lancey Joe, of course, is the Michael Jordan of Chicago comedy. In that he retired at the top of his game and came back to play a worse sport. He was actually a much better karaoke and DJ than he was a comedian, but he's back here and he's playing it.
I'm the Michael Jordan of credit scores. Not because it's good. It's because it's my credit score is 23.
That's pretty good, man. This show, on my side, by the way, everybody, this show brought to you by blended Scotch whiskey from Trader Joe's. Blended Scotch whiskey. You can use it in just about any drink, really. You can use it in any drink. You can use it in LaCroix. You can use it in baby formula. You can use it. I mix it with milk in the morning that I put in my coffee. Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey. Yes, even on a working man's budget, you can get a taste of the Highlands and forget your problems. Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey. It's not just for poor men. I made this little concoction myself today. I don't really follow. It's interesting because Joy was on the show yesterday. Joy Schanneberger. Great friend, talented woman. She mixed up The Last Word, which is like a really good cocktail from Detroit. We had a whole thing about it. You can go back and watch that sequence, that riveting sequence. But we, oh shit, Ashley Air also pouring a drink. Ashley, I hope you're doing well. She's in a great band called the Goonies, by the way. I'm gonna get back to this drink in a second, but she's in a great cover band in Boulder, Colorado called the Goonies, which is unbelievable. Honestly, they're so good. I hope she's still doing it. Okay, so this drink, so The Last Word is this very, this cocktail from Detroit that we were talking about yesterday. But this drink, I just mix up. I pour some Scotch whiskey, and into it, I actually mix Scotch whiskey, and it creates a great drink for getting rid of your feelings. So I'm kidding. I put in some we got some mixer. It's got some LaCroix in here, and then a little bit of actually maple syrup. It's a great drink.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's good. It reminds me of growing up in the North. What do you do? What are you doing?
I got to get some ginkgo biloba. You're talking all about killing your feelings. How about some ginkgo?
I wish somebody
from Nature's Bounty.
I wish you and I were in an argument and you brought that ginkgo biloba out because I could be like, "How about you ginkgo below me, Lancey Joe?"
Ginkgo biloba is performance enhancing drugs for arguments because it amps your brain power up. You can.
Do you pull that out when you and Laura get in an argument? You just start taking the ginkgo.
She's like, that's cheating.
Do you have a good birthday, by the way, man? You have a good one?
It was pretty good, yeah. I mean, the odds were stacked against this one.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Tom Brady's not on the Patriots anymore. So it's the worst thing that's happened to society in recent memory.
He's married to Gisele Bundchen. I don't give a shit what happens to him.
Right. You don't know sports, but you do know supermodels.
Hey, my knowledge of porn stars is even better, buddy.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, I've had a bunch of them on the podcast. Like,
I think that's hilarious. It's because it's such a dichotomy that you know so much about the Roman Empire and the ancient Grecian.
Well, I'm only into topics that porn stars also like. So,
do they like that stuff?
I don't. Yeah, many a night I will stay late debating a porn star on Twitter about Roman history. Was it Diocletian that had the? No, it was.
Many a night debating a porn star. Dating a porn star.
Baiting a porn star this fall on CBS.
So I had a really good birthday. Laura, my girlfriend, is amazing, and I like the low key. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about this quarantine because it's given me a chance to kind of get my thoughts together and just live in my own little world. But I'm an only child, so this is my homeostasis. It's a tremendous homeostasis.
When I was in elementary school, I think we used to make fun of each other by calling one another homeostases.
I thought you were going to say only children. Oh, you're an only child.
You should kill yourself. That's a terrible thing to say. You posted once again, I want to bump this on the show. I'm excited. You guys to share with you. I'm excited to say we've had a lot of people on here and spoke to them recently who have been supporting their local, restaurants and such by ordering out and getting takeout and ordering in and all that sort of stuff. I think that's great. I've been trying to do that with some local places around me here in Chicago, and I just really think that, I think that you posted something that was great, which was you and Laura had the place Toast that you love going to, and you posted a little tribute to it because it closed recently due to the coronavirus situation, and it was actually touching. Like, it was really, I have to admit, it was like, man, if I had a place, I would want somebody to like it the way Lancey loved this place. Like, it was a little collage of you and Laura at this place, and I was like, they might have gotten married here. Like,
I'm already married to the game, Brendon. I can't. And she's jealous.
How could she compare to that rapper? He's amazing, the game.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's what actually broke him and 50 Cent up, is my marriage to the game. We eloped.
I can't wait till the sequel to Tiger King comes out. Lancey, the game, and Hustlin'.
Yeah. King of Passion.
King of Passion King. This fall on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm looking over here at Facebook. 6 viewers. This is great. Y'all flood us with questions. Let's see. People are commenting. This is great.
Yeah, we got a lot of action, man.
Tremendous setup you've got here.
Tremendous.
Terrific.
So this is interesting because we've got an actress who's going to be on the show today, my friend Zoe, who's delightful. I haven't talked to her in a long time, so it's a good opportunity to catch up. But also an actress like your significant other, an actor,
mm-hmm.
and we were. She was able to do it last minute. She's a good sport because Dave Landau from Compound Media was supposed to call in and do it, and he had to cancel it last minute because he had something else going on. So he's rescheduled for next week. It's going to be a great lineup next week. I think we've got Jarrell, who's going to be on, and then and Dave Landau and some other comedians kind of here in Chicago, apart from just ourselves. Not that you wouldn't want to tune in for this, all 6 of you. This is a fantastic. I love that there's 6 viewers, but 2 of them are us. Like,
yeah, but there's people that are very vocal on here saying, "Hey, love you, buddy."
Oh yeah,
still at it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I gotta admit that there's some very supportive people, and my cousin Dustin is on here. We got to give him a shout out at one of these episodes. I got to show his art. He's great. He does glass blowing and some other great stuff. And,
we used to talk about that in elementary school. Oh, you're just a glass blower.
You ain't nothing but a glass blower. I gotta say hello, by the way, to some of these other people who joined. Bjork over in Iceland, welcome. Keith Eric Brown, are you Keith? If you're still watching, man, put in the comments if you're still in New York at the moment. I had to peace out. It was very scary. Came back to the Midwest. And New York got very weird. And also, you live in the Heights, don't you? That's an extra odd part, I feel like, of New York. Extra dense, in a way. So, consistency of thick pudding up there in Washington Heights.
Where is that, in Manhattan?
It's in Manhattan. It's in the panhandle of Manhattan. It's up in the Manhattan panhandle.
I mean, I should know this because I grew up there.
That's cool. But you grew up on Lower Manhattan. You grew up in Greenwich Village.
Yeah, I never left the village.
You never went further than you could throw a Frisbee from your front porch, I recall.
One time I went up past 56th and my mom got pissed and she started yelling out from the porch. The street lights are on. Come on home.
You can't hear the triangle she would ring for dinner out past 56th. I remember.
She blew on a conch shell. That we had gotten from our vacation to the Hudson River one year.
We took a vacation up to the Hudson River. You went up to Dutch Kills up in the Hudson River?
Yes.
We used to camp out under the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
I remember the next summer we went to camp on the East River.
We try to stay away from Brooklyn. Not Brooklyn, New Jersey. We hated New Jersey. That was our rival in high school basketball.
You know what's weird about it? Let me tell you this before we get our guest on this program. What's weird about New Jersey is that there are plenty of people I know who live in Brooklyn, and I think of Brooklyn as closer than New Jersey, but New Jersey is actually closer to Manhattan, New York, Midtown, whatever, than Brooklyn or the Bronx or certainly Staten Island, and yet they're it's a completely different state.
Right.
It's super freaking weird. Riveting argument here on the Happiest Hour.
I was trying to get this joke in. There's no way I can say it on Facebook with just a status because I think the tone matters. But I wanted to say either Brooklyn has changed a lot or Biggie Smalls was full of shit. Because if I say that on in text format, people will be like, "What?
Yeah,
what does this
mad.
mean?
Why is he so mad? What's Lancey got to be mad about?" Yeah, I think that Brooklyn has changed. First of all, Brooklyn won't return my phone calls, so Brooklyn's definitely changed.
My friend Randy Cossey, who does watch and comments on this show sometimes, you saw comments from him yesterday. He used to date this girl named Brooklyn, and we always cut that joke. Brooklyn's changed, man. Brooklyn has changed.
I knew a Brooklyn growing up, and that's all I have to say about that. Oh man, Dylan Scott. Well, Dylan, if you're still watching, we'll have you on this show, man. This has been a real ramshackle production. To be perfectly honest with you, Dylan, I haven't invited you on yet because I didn't know if I could handle you yet.
Right, we got to get our bearings straight before we introduce the.
Dylan Scott. Dylan's a loose cannon. Dylan's gonna come on this show and he's gonna run this show like he's the one who started it.
Yes. Yep. He'll be saying, "Tune in tomorrow at 5:30 when I interview Brendon and Lance."
Did you see him do? He did my house show once. This is a Chicago comedian for all of you Icelandic people watching, and he came in and did my house show once. He took the whole thing over. Started hosting it. Got Renee to play guitar, and it was a great. And here's the worst part. It was the greatest house show I ever had.
Yeah.
He got everybody sing Third Eye Blind. I
can't remember if that was the one I was on or not. I did one of those.
It was beautiful.
It was really fun.
It was amazing.
When you lived in Wrigleyville proper.
Yeah, when I lived in proper Wrigleyville. Elizabeth just joined. Thank you so much for joining. So let's call up our guest here, Zoe Sapienza. She's amazing. And I'm gonna try to +1 her in here. And every time I do this, just like everybody who watches the show, this whole thing basically normally technologically falls apart. So everybody just be patient as long as this thing is still working its way out.
Yeah. Well, we got a virus from Brian Rowe's internet the other day.
That thing was I don't know what Brian needs to. If you're watching, Brian, we need to have you double check all of your technology because I think you might be the source of it. Hey, there she is. Hey, Zoe.
Hey.
How are you?
Hi, Zoe.
Welcome to the Happiest Hour.
Thank you. How's it been going?
It's going well. It's
That's
good. Lancey and I are hanging out. I saw you jumping in on Facebook. I know you were paying a little attention. You're looking good. I feel like I should go get all my old library books and return them to you right now.
Well, I look like a librarian? Oh my God. Jeez.
I like it.
To be fair though, this is the first time I've put on mascara in, 4 weeks.
Me too.
Just for this.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
That's all though. That's all you got. Some mascara.
You got some, is that a paper straw I see?
No, it's bamboo.
What?
I am fully into the eco lifestyle. I've done a lot of research over the past year. And one of my findings was bamboo straws in various lengths for your bubble tea or your smoothie, whatever you need.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, so I carry them everywhere.
I feel like that was almost Shakespeare. Is this a bamboo straw I see before me? It's handled toward my hand. I can clutch thee not, yet I see thee still.
They call it their own cleaner, so it's prime.
Zoe, how's your quarantine going? How are you doing? How you holding up?
Well,
Clearly
okay.
not that well, or you wouldn't be on this program.
Well, I'm okay. I'm lucky that I have one of my jobs still. But we just found out that we're getting a pay cut next pay period.
Huzzah!
Which sucks. But it's I'm very lucky to still have a job for what it's worth.
Well, for cheers. Let's hope that everybody's got one. What are you drinking, by the way?
This is just a screwdriver with fresh orange juice.
Whoa. That makes it happen.
It's a little pulpy, but that's my jam. So we're good.
Heck yeah. Are you?
You guys have the Manhattan, right? You said that earlier, right?
Well, not quite a Manhattan. It's a scotch and maple syrup with some other mixers I tossed in there. It's approaching a Manhattan. It's more like a Bronx, really.
Bronx. I like it. Can't forget the Bronx.
I'd say Staten Island, except there would be garbage in it.
I can't regulate my body temperature. I've taken this off already twice. Good Lord.
It happens. This is the quarantine is in its sixth week. It's got us it just falling apart all over the place.
It's true.
So, how have you been doing? Did you have any projects? I'm curious to ask you actually. How many projects? I know you are always working on something, and
yes,
I was curious how many projects you had going on and what states those are in due to this situation.
Well, they're done at the moment. But so I was in a show. Well, you probably don't know this. I lost my voice for 4.5 months, 2018 to 2019.
What?
Yeah, because I had surgery and they fucked up my vocal cords. So then I didn't have a voice for 4 months, which was awful. But then I missed a lot of auditions. So I finally got back into auditioning once my voice came back, thanks to a pot brownie.
Wait, what?
Yep,
so
we're just gonna
your
blow
voice
right.
came back from a pot brownie?
Yeah, so I had heart surgery October 2018.
Yep.
Then I lost my voice from that surgery, and then Valentine's Day I ate a pot brownie after going to weeks and weeks of speech therapy to no avail. Ate a pot brownie. The next morning I got up for work and my voice was back.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
So Prime told all of my doctors and they were thrilled, whatever. But
did they actually, were they oh yeah, that's great. That can happen medically.
Nobody knew that it could happen, but my ENT guy was oh, cool. How'd it taste? That's all he said to me because it wasn't technically legal at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was cool, great. But my cardiologist spent half an hour on the phone with me talking about how they can use it for other patients.
Well, so that's fantastic. You're in the middle of a medical tragedy. We have a medical miracle.
Right. So that spawned.
I need to say this real quick just to get it in. Dustin Music, my cousin and one of our biggest fans. I knew before you even got through the story, I knew he was going to comment, weed brownie, LOL, and he totally just did that.
That's great.
I can see him with a beer on his porch being like, hell yeah, man.
It's a great story. It's amazing. But that spawned me being in a an art gallery because of it. I did an art installation based on it, which was cool. But that was not impacted by COVID. But I was in a show. So the first show that I auditioned for with a voice, the first or second show I got cast in. And we opened in the fall of 2019 and did a run. And it was a site-specific show with silent theater, which was so fun. It took place at someone's funeral. So we did it in a real church and used the whole church. So there were scenes outside, there were scenes in the kitchen, there were scenes in the chapel, there were scenes in the office. And the audience could walk around and choose who they wanted to follow.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And we sold out every night. It was amazing. And then we decided to close for the holidays and reopen in February. So we had started our rehearsal process, had one weekend of new opening shows at the end of February, and then closed.
Bang.
Yeah. So like that sucked, but I'm like happy that I got to do like the show itself for a full run in the fall.
Yeah.
But so that's gone now, and we're not gonna reopen it. But
so you have to hold on a second. You have to introduce us to the birds in your background.
Yes.
If you can,
birds,
because
yeah. All right. So I have 3 of them. Well, my roommates and I have 3 of them, and right now they're out of their cage. So let's see. You're on my laptop, so I don't know if I can get this. But
this will be the first birds on the podcast.
This is the first birds on the podcast.
Like, how do I do this?
Our viewers are gonna shoot through the roof, man. We're gonna.
The birds are great. Can I make my video bigger? I don't know.
You can't. You're good. We got a small. Okay. We have a small sliver. But
okay. Well, you see.
There we go.
Do you see them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There they go.
The light.
Hanging out on the light.
There's Ollie, who's the yellow one. Snowy is the white one, and they're a couple. They're together.
So you live in this house where you just let these birds roam around, like they're just at liberty, hanging out.
Well, they have a cage, but we let them out like a few times a week to
This
just
is what a
chill
creative
out.
person's house looks like, I think.
That's true.
This
Yeah.
is like
It's true. It's great. Although they definitely squawk. I mean, you're hearing them all day long, so you have to put a blanket on them if you want any sort of peace and quiet.
Yeah, because they think it's nighttime. But that's like human beings evolved to like birdsong. Like you feel good when you hear birds singing and things like this.
Oh yeah, I love it. Everybody I call on the phone hates it. They're like, "Shut the birds up." My mother is like, "Those damn birds!" Every time. She knows I've had them for months.
Something we haven't talked about on this program yet, actually, are how all of our parents are doing. It's your parents are interesting people. I feel like you've told me about them before. They're your dad's a photographer, I think, and
he is.
What are how are they doing during all this?
Well, my father actually, so he is a professional freelance photographer, but also just retired last spring. And summer, and he 2 weeks ago decided to move. I mean, this was a plan that was in process before COVID, but chose now during quarantine to fly across the country.
Wow.
And his birthday is Saturday, so he'll be 71.
Yep.
He was supposed to be in Chicago with me, and I was really bummed about it. I would have loved to taken him out to dinner, but he got on a plane with a mask and gloves and everything, and had a moving truck bring all of his shit to Eugene, Oregon, where his brother lives, which is amazing. And I'm so glad that he got out there. But man, that whole day of travel, I was petrified because you just don't know,
Yeah.
And he's 70, he's in technically the old category, so I was very nervous about that. But
oh my gosh.
But he's good. He's passed his 14 days of quarantine, so he's out there. But my parents are divorced. They divorced when I was 10,
Yep.
but they're still really good friends. And so I only have one holiday when I go home and see them and things like that. But my dad didn't say goodbye to her when he moved to Oregon.
What?
Because of COVID. And so I'm like, oh my God, I love them both so much.
In person. It's not like he just didn't say goodbye, period.
No, he didn't tell either of us that he had gotten on a plane.
He just ghosted.
He didn't tell us about it until he was halfway across the country in an airport.
God. That's some real dad shit.
And I was just like, Dad, what do you mean you're halfway across the country in an airport?
Did he think that y'all were going to stop him?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. What the hell am I going to do in Chicago?
Send him high maintenance messages. I get it. I think I feel like that's real man management. Is being like, I just won't let him know, and then I won't have to deal with it.
Until I'm there, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm already there. I'll be fine.
But I think him moving really stressed my mom out because even though they're divorced, she is feeling very lonely, not even having him down the street. So I'm checking in on her a lot.
Well, that's good. You're being a good daughter.
You know? Yeah.
I'm curious,
She-
Lancey. What are your? I'm just real quick. What are your parents up to during all this? I haven't even asked you about that.
I haven't talked to him in about 3 months. No, I'm joking.
Like,
Yeah.
They seem to be good. I don't know if y'all run into this with your parents. Zoe, obviously you do a little bit, but my parents are hard-headed. So obviously you run in that with your dad a little bit, but
Yeah.
both of them. My mom's a nurse, so she's not on like the front lines, but she is her workload is way up right now.
Yeah.
So she's pretty inundated at home with paperwork and whatnot. But my dad's retired, and he's confused on why people aren't out right now. He's just like, what's going on? I'm like, Dad, please stay home. What are you doing?
Stay
Yeah.
home. But I can't
There's
go. Why can't I go get a newspaper, Lancey? I don't understand why I can't go up to the store get one. My dad, he didn't even believe it wasn't until Trump said 100,000 people would die that my dad was like, "Oh, this is serious."
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's an interesting
madness.
thing. Young people are now telling their parents to not go out. It's like all over.
Role reversal.
I know,
Yeah.
role reversal.
Role reversal.
Full.
I had to
Yeah.
tell my same exact thing. I had to tell my parents. I was like, "Look, guys, just for the sake of me and my sister, please just stay home for 5 weeks. We'll be there on Memorial Day weekend. It'll be fine. We'll have fun. Just just chill
just
for
do
the
it.
time being." So my dad is working on my parents are working on they bought a house to flip in this town in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, and here's the weird thing about it. This town has like 12 cases of coronavirus. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's like a bunch of people who already have it. And I'm like, God, just don't. So my parents took it seriously, and they're like, my dad, weirdly, because he's working on this house, has all these N95 masks, like that he just had lying around.
And shit. Yeah.
So he's like, well, it's a good thing I ordered those masks because now I gotta. Trump said people are gonna die, so I gotta wear them. Like, goodness gracious, man.
I know. And all the protests going on recently.
Oh man, if you guys watching should check this out. Go listen to the Daily podcast from the New York Times yesterday. It's yesterday the 22nd. They have a great report about specifically the protests in Michigan, which is the biggest one that's happened so far. And it's crazy how you can draw a straight line to the support for those protests to like the DeVos family, which is a conservative family.
Yeah.
Obviously, Secretary of Education is Betsy DeVos.
Right.
It's just crazy. It's madness. And in like 2 weeks, this is fucked up. And I shouldn't really share this on this podcast, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I'm here for it.
I have premature schadenfreude of like waiting for stories of like all these people who went to the protest now have cases of COVID-19.
Oh yeah,
like
it's going to happen.
Oh my gosh!
And did you see that Anderson Cooper interview with the mayor of Vegas?
I see them, but I'm so attracted to Anderson, I can't actually listen.
Oh my, well, he's hot as shit. But oh my God, so this woman, this mayor, she basically was like, we want to reopen the casinos and everything and be the control group to like see if people die from COVID if you open up. It was outrageous. And at a point,
never in my wildest dreams would I go, let's have Las Vegas be a control group for anything.
It's true. Oh, fucking crazy.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like a gamble for sure.
No pun intended.
You know what they say in Vegas? What happens in Vegas spreads to the rest of the country virally.
Right, doesn't stay in Vegas.
Yeah, to their credit, they've never given a shit about viruses.
No, not at all. In any way.
Oh my gosh,
honestly, I think she did say, we have viruses in the entire world. Like, why are we worried? And Cooper's face was like...
Oh my God, I can't believe What a crazy, what a weird time to be alive, man. It just...
Also, don't mind me. I'm just going to eat some seaweed.
I'm glad you said that because I thought it was a credit card for a minute.
That's the new Capital One Saver card.
That was great.
Capital One, what's in your lunch? This is a real tangent, but one of my favorite things so here's the thing. I'm part of the reason Lance is on the show is because one, he inspired it, and two, Lance is like one of my favorite people. He's fucking hilarious, as you can see. And
Clearly, yeah.
one of my favorite jokes that Lance does is just put Capital One commercials in the middle of his act when he's on stage. I've seen him do it so many times, and I love it so much. Like, and it's the best part about it is sometimes I have to admit that, and this is true with all comedy, but like sometimes the audience gets it, and sometimes they don't get it, and both times I find it hilarious.
Hilarious, right? No matter what.
Because if he's crushing, it's great. Like, the audience is, like, totally with them, and they're laughing and everything. But if the audience sometimes is like, wait, why is he talking about Capital One in the middle of this comedy show? Capital One, what's in your wallet? And I swear, I'm sorry to jack your bits, Lance, but I have told that joke on the Conan, actually. No, I've told that joke... I told that joke to so many different people. I've credited you with it every time. I'm like, my friend Lance, he does this great joke. But like, yeah, it's so, man, it's a good one.
I did a show in Wisconsin one time, and that was one of the groups that did not get it. There was about 200 people looking at me blank-faced.
Now you know what it's like to be me on stage.
I was like, poor Brendon. He has to go through this every time.
Yeah, except with more people in the audience.
Fair. I am a horrible audience member when it comes to stand-up comedy. I find things funny, and I don't laugh at them. I just
yeah.
So you're a British audience member.
I don't understand, and yet I'm an actor, and I want people to be like emotive. Nope, not at all. In an audience, I am not that.
It's too bad that my British family hasn't joined in on this so far, because I can, like, Lance will attest, when we went to Edinburgh, it was so ridiculous. All the audience members, they would like the show, and they would come up to you afterwards and be like, oh, I quite enjoyed that. It was quite good.
It was brilliant.
Funny. It was brilliant, very funny. And he'd be like, well, you didn't fucking laugh during the whole damn show.
Nobody does anything. That was our experience, too. Yeah.
That is so, oh my God. Go ahead. You have a question?
I don't have a question, but when I went to Edinburgh, because I took a show there as well a few years ago.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
But it was during the, like, whole Trump situation. I mean, it's still going on, but it was the start of the Trump situation, and people didn't want to come to our show because we were American.
Really?
And because a bunch of American shows there were based around politics and Trump.
Yep.
And I was like, this is not it. Just please come on.
What year was that?
2018. Yeah, 2018, I think is when you went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Because when we were there, it was right after Trump's
election. Right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Zach Tomasovic, who's going to be on the program tomorrow at 5 p.m. By the way, I should let you know we need to start half an hour earlier. Plug. Yeah, because I'm going to be on TVCO for a live comedy thing, but at 7 Eastern, so 6 Central. But anyway, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern, 11 GMT.
God.
Anyway,
what specific time?
Anyway, Zach Tomasovic, who's going to be on the program tomorrow, I met in Edinburgh. He had a show about Donald Trump in 2017 that got a lot of attention. He was written about in Time Magazine and some other places. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool. I know.
Who knows?
He was willing to blow every journalist that he needed to in order to make that happen.
Nope. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and I just, Lancey and I just decided to just try to make it on the merit of our talent, I guess. So
the show must go on.
Were you there the whole time? Like the whole month?
I was there the whole month, yeah. I lost my mind. I think I remember telling you about it. I actually went crazy during one point.
Yeah.
I went actually crazy. We should have Bill Batiste on this podcast because like like a ghost.
Like
He
a
hangs
true
out.
neighbor.
Yeah, like a true neighbor. Like a true neighbor. Bill Batita's there. He hangs like a specter over like every thing in Chicago. Anyway, I should have him on the show because he captured me on video going crazy at one point.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to
Edinburgh will
cue
do
the
that.
video up for this when I have him on, and we'll play it, Lance. You'll find it hilarious. But I was just yelling at people in the street because I just lost my mind.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm a thin veil of sanity away from losing it at any given moment.
At any point, right?
Like,
But nobody knows that.
Zoe, were you there the whole month, Zoe?
No. We only did a week because we couldn't afford it because it's a lot of money, and it was which I would love to go back and plan more now that I've had the experience of a week. But we tried to do it all with just two of us, which was fine. We did it, and I loved it. But man, was it stressful to do all of the backstage stuff and getting insurance and doing this and finding this with nobody else.
Right.
But so I'd love to do the month just to take more advantage of what's there, but with a team. I'm not doing that with myself.
I think the birds agree. I think the birds agree with you.
I know the birds are going a little nuts. Hello. Also, there's a bag, a Trader Joe's bag on the floor because they all hang up on that lamp and then shit. So there is now a folded Trader Joe's bag to catch their shit, so we don't have to
what a
clean
great
the
life!
floor.
They don't have to worry about eating or I mean, the one bird has a girlfriend and she has
I
a
know.
boyfriend, and they can.
We
just
had to get both of
They
them.
shit where they
Like,
want.
they
They fly where they want.
They have a great time.
How do I
And
get
also, they go back into their cage without being asked. They will just fly back in there, you notice it, and you close the door.
Beautiful.
And they've been out of my hands before, which is even better.
Well, that's pretty hip.
Now, if only I could get one to land right here and hang out, that would be.
That's your next
I'm
Instagram.
bird whisperer.
That's your next viral Instagram picture.
My viral Instagram with 20
I love
likes.
that you're casually eating seaweed during this conversation.
Is that weird? I don't know.
I feel like
That's
this
just
would.
true.
I'll tell you this: it would feel slightly more appropriate if you were eating it while we were talking to you on a private jet. It feels like that's the food for yeah.
Hey, so these are 99 cents at Trader Joe's, and I'm obsessed.
Whoa.
So
you know what else is 99 cents at Trader Joe's? Blended Scotch whiskey. Blended Scotch whiskey from Trader Joe's.
Whiskey?
Yes, even you, layperson, can afford blended Scotch whiskey. Forget your problems and drink away the COVID-19 worries. Blended Scotch whiskey from Trader Joe's. It's for you. Glasses up.
It's 99 cents there? I didn't realize
that's
that.
what you
Well,
do
it's 10.
during
It's about 10 or 11 handfuls of 99 cents.
Oh, okay.
Totally. But that's your that's what you do instead of Capital One, Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
During your sets.
Well, I don't know if you've seen my comedy, Zoe, but most of my sets.
I have.
Most of my sets. I would say instead of what I do is that most of my sets involve yelling at the audience.
Brendon
is hilarious, though. Have you really seen him, Zoe?
I have. But honestly, we haven't seen each other in, I don't know, 2 years. It's
quite
been
some time. Yeah, quite some time.
Yeah, a long time. But 2.5 years ago, we went to a few together.
Yeah, well, you were for a minute. You were hanging out around a lot of comedy shows. You really enjoyed going and.
I worked with a bunch of people who were in the comedy scene.
Yeah,
and
including Dylan Scott, friend of the frenemy of the show, Dylan Scott.
Oh, God, frenemy! Tell me that story.
Oh, he just messaged me. He's like, why the fuck do you not have me on your show? Those are my words, not his, to be fair.
So are you going to bring him on the show?
Yeah, totally. Why not? You know what I mean? We don't have any big sponsors to lose.
Right. Oh, God.
Trader Joe's has been brought up a lot.
It's true.
I tried to get a comedy show going at Trader Joe's once, and they wouldn't do it. But you know who would? Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Hell yeah.
And I executed that show for you.
That's right. You and Caroline Twyman, I think, right?
Yep. And Laura Hug.
I had to unfortunately, I had to head to New York and bring COVID-19 there back in February.
It was. That was right at the origin.
It's strange to think about that. I've been back in Chicago as long as I was in New York.
Oh, wow.
Man.
I know, crazy.
Zoe, what part of Chicago are you in right now?
I'm in like North Center.
Me too.
No way. Where?
Berthoud and Ravenswood.
Oh, I'm like Damon and Addison, Waveland area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which, by the way, has been turned into a large police activity block in the past since quarantine started.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm still like wired about it because 3 nights ago, a drunk driver plowed into 5 parked cars right outside of our apartment and then ran away. And so
where would somebody get? This is what's crazy about quarantine. How did somebody even get drunk and then drive home? Like that's
I don't know.
You should be at home. Lori Lightfoot wants you to be at home.
It's true. Have you seen that Instagram of Lori Lightfoot like being placed random places?
Yeah.
Best thing on the internet today. But this guy ran into 4 parked cars, totaled his and the one he hit and probably the one behind that, got out of the car. The car got caught on fire. So at this point, everybody on the block was like in their pajamas at 9 p.m. because what else are you going to do? And like ran upstairs and we got our fire extinguishers and like put the cars out with personal fire extinguishers. Don't know. And then everybody was freaking out because we were relatively close to each other. So I went and got masks and then we called the cops, then we called the fire department, and then I had to give a statement to the police.
What?
And then I saw the guy and I was like, hey, like don't run. Like, do you need anything? Are you okay? And he said, I'm fine. And then just like tore off running. And then some guys that were out in the neighborhood just decided to chase after him and tackle him to the ground and sit on him until the police arrived.
What?
To like, I have no idea. It was insane. And then I couldn't fall asleep until 3 a.m. that night because
you were so excited.
I was like, what's happening?
You know what would have helped you fall asleep? Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey.
That might have been what caused all this in the first place, Brendon.
It's true. To be fair, they found a bottle of Tito's in his car.
Tito's is to blame.
Tito's. Yeah.
That's the best part about Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey is you can dip your seaweed in it and then eat it.
Ooh, even better. You know, it really soaks up all the goodness.
I can't believe that happened. That's so you were like, how many days ago was this?
Tuesday night at 9 p.m.
This week. That's wild.
And there's still a part of the car on the, like they had street cleaning come, but there's a part of the car on the sidewalk that nobody's touched.
That was my birthday.
I love my cousin.
Tuesday?
My birthday was Tuesday, yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
They were out celebrating hardcore for Lancey Joe Day.
Clearly. Oh, man.
I love that, by the way, my cousin Dustin just said, that's like a normal day in Red Bluff. Like, he lives in Red Bluff,
for
California.
sure.
Yeah, sure.
Right where those California fires were, man. Pretty crazy.
Whoa.
Zoe, what projects you got going on right now? Thank goodness you got a day job, by the way. Still for the time being, even though you got to take a pay cut, it's better than nothing. That's like pretty rough.
Better than nothing. I'm like today was a little rough knowing that I had like this was coming, but I'm so lucky to like have money coming in still, you know, out of everything. And there's also been a bunch of like theater funds that have paid back if you lost your show. So I reached out to them about losing. I mean, I wasn't making a lot anyway in the show that got cut, but I reached out to them and they paid me for the show that I ended up getting canceled.
Amazing.
So people are doing like wonderful things, and I'm also like trying to donate as much as I can. Like I donated a few other. Intelligentsia was doing a like donate coffee to frontline workers in Chicago, and so I'm like trying to get myself to do that because I don't have a lot of money, but I am definitely in a better position, and like I'm very fortunate. So I'm trying to give as much as I can. And I had a friend actually who works with me at this job, and he donated his entire stimulus check.
Whoa.
The entire thing.
Wow.
And I was like, incredible.
That's
but
amazing.
yeah, it was bonkers. So I'm trying to like look at it as a very like, yes, it sucks to get a pay cut, but I'm so lucky, you know.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, I feel like I feel like I myself should give back because I still have a day job, which wears me down. This is like recovery. This is part of the reason I get on this with Lance and start hanging out with him, and then I feel like recovered because like
Oh
otherwise,
yeah,
it's like the day job working from home slowly grinds me away. I say that
it's
now.
hard.
I probably have coworkers watching this.
It's hard. I mean, Lance, are you working right now?
No,
No.
no, not besides about 48 hours of podcasting and Instagramming and Facebooking a week.
And this is why you need to watch the at Lancey Joe on Venmo show, audience. Check it out.
There it
At
is.
Lancey Joe on Venmo.
I mean,
Yeah, there is a lot of good things. So if y'all do want to donate, go to these different places, and because these small businesses are dying quickly.
It's true. There's I live around the corner, at least for the moment, in Chicago, from Panes Panes Bread Cafe. It's this bakery that's like just on Sheffield and Wellington, and it's a great place. It's been there for like 20-something years. And I walked in today to buy a loaf of bread and asked the lady how she was doing, and she was like, honestly, not good. Like, she's like, I'm sorry to make this weird, but like, this is really rough. Like, and the thing that I'm frustrated about, not to make this podcast political, because it's supposed to be the happiest hour.
woo-hoo!
I know it's supposed to be the happiest hour, you guys. But she mentioned she's like this PPP program that the Congress passed. She's like, I can't get any money out of it, and I've applied for it. I applied to Citibank for it. They've told me that they can't give me this loan, but meanwhile, a bunch of these like very large organizations are getting millions of dollars of bailout, and then
Chipotle
also
and Shake Shack.
yeah, also furloughing and laying off their workers. Like,
Mhm.
so the situation is quite bad, which is why
It's really bad.
I know, but which is why on a $1,200 stimulus check from the government, you can afford 120 bottles of blended Scotch whiskey from Trader Joe's.
From Trader Joe's.
I know, it's so rough. Well, Zoe, it's been lovely to have you on. Where can people follow you, get at you, figure out what your next what your next project is?
I do a lot on Instagram, so follow me at Zoe-Sapienza or on Instagram.com. Goodness gracious. Also ZoeSapienza.com. You can find everything. Truthfully, not doing a whole lot in the arts department right now, but we're working on it. So I've started embroidering, so maybe that'll become a thing.
Embroidering, nice.
That's cool.
You know, just picking it up.
Very nice. Well, there could very well not be any. Unfortunately for the three of us, there could very well not be any performing arts live for like 8 months, maybe.
I know.
Like, it's very weird. People are talking about it. It's very strange. So it's going to be basically this program, which means we'll have to have you back on, and we'll have to do a teleplay of some comedy or with three roles that we can each play.
Can we please? That would be necessary for my well-being.
Okay. We'll write something, and then we'll go ahead and pop
Honestly,
it on this
let's
thing.
do it. I recently, a friend of mine, she like hosts burlesque, usually at Shaking It at Shakers on Clark, but they did a virtual version of it a week ago, and so she had this whole like tech setup where she still hosted it, and then they had something go on where you could like all of a sudden you're in someone else's apartment and this performer is doing her burlesque dance, which was amazing. And then you'd go back to the host, which of course it's better to be there, but it was just really lovely to see people. There was somebody from Australia who tuned in who like wouldn't have ever known about Shaking It at Shakers, you know? So like virtual stuff sometimes sucks, but it's also like, whoa, oh my God. You know,
I wouldn't have this many Icelandic fans if I didn't end up doing this. So, but what you really need to do is check out the at Lancey Joe on Venmo show coming up later today. Follow Lancey Joe for the at Lancey Joe on Venmo show. Well, Zoe, it's been lovely to have you on and catching up.
Nice to meet you, Zoe.
We'll have to have
It's been wonderful.
We'll have to have another conversation. I'd love to hear everything else that's going on in your life.
Yes.
But
and we won't stay away for 2 years like before.
yeah, I hope not. You're a lovely person. You're wonderful.
I know. Likewise, man.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, there she is. What a delightful person.
Very lovely.
Lancey, Lancey, I can't wait till till we can hang out. I feel like I'm deprived. I only get to see you on this thing.
I feel like though, like when we end the podcast or the video cast during the day, I feel like you were actually here. So I feel like people have left my house.
Then you got to go take the Lysol and start cleaning stuff up.
Right. Yeah. You can't be too careful.
Well, I feel similarly. I feel like it's just like it's so nice. I get to actually talk with some people during the day, and it's different than work. I feel like if you're on like a work call or something, this is a different situation. I feel like I'm hanging out with my buddy and his piercing blue eyes.
That's a green screen effect. I've got here. If just a shout out to. If you go to Cafe Press Chicago, they're doing like Sunday breakfast in bed where they do like a brunch thing and stuff. And also you can order meals for essential workers and everything on there if you wanted to donate some money. That's the company that I work for normally, so I just wanted to shout out to that. Yeah, CafePressChicago.com.
All right, cool. We'll have to check that out. CafePressChicago.com. No hyphen or anything, just CAFEPRESS.com/Chicago.
Yes. Yeah, so they'll release all that where you can donate to essential stuff, but also like if you want to try the food, it's like top notch.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I didn't work for Cafe Press itself, but it's the company that owns
Cafe
Burger
Press.
Bar.
Got it.
Yeah.
I found a podcast I want to mention to everybody while we're hanging out, and I want to talk about it because this is the even one layer deeper equivalent of me saying I read an article in the Atlantic. I found a podcast called The Fall of Civilizations Podcast. Oh my god, dude, I cannot recommend this enough.
Yes.
I can't recommend it enough, Lancey. The Fall of Civilizations podcast. They have 5 episodes on YouTube that are watchable, that are available, and they're so much. It's so freaking good, man. The first episode I watched was on the Bronze Age collapse.
Hell yeah! I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, it's a real thing.
I gotta hear it.
The Bronze Age collapse. It's basically this. Just to briefly describe it. Egyptians, the Greeks, like all these ancient civilizations in the Bronze Age, like 26,000 years ago, all were fantastic. They built the pyramids, they built all these big ancient, megalithic structures, and then all collapsed suddenly and kind of at the same time. And they're not really sure. Scientists weren't really sure why. Historians didn't really know why. And this podcast does a really good job getting all the sources together to talk about like how and why this happened. And it was a great episode. And
why was it called the Bronze Age?
Well, because they used bronze for everything. They had
really?
Yeah. So the Bronze Age, the technology did not exist to smelt iron, which requires a much higher temperature to actually melt and to make something from. And bronze requires copper and tin, which is much lower melting point. You can melt tin on your stove. And consequently, everything in the world was mostly made out of bronze at the time. So
my girlfriend's a 10. I could melt her on the stove.
You're just gearing up for that one, man. That was good.
Well, yeah, I was leading you through that the whole time. I was like, I know bronze doesn't melt it.
I know exactly what bronze is made from.
So they're not calling it that because it's like, you know how like, I don't know, wedding anniversaries or whatever, like there's like silver and gold and
yeah, they're not calling it the Bronze Age because it came in third place in like the ages.
Yes, I was thinking that. I was literally thinking that. Like maybe the Renaissance was like the golden age or something.
That's so funny, man. No, no Bronze Age because people made most things out of bronze. But like that,
Okay.
that's kind of the basic idea behind it anyway. So the Fall of Civilizations podcast, man, it's freaking good. I really enjoy it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's great. It's that your choices are that or whatever that recent thing about people not having sex on an island on Netflix is about. That was like the most recent. Now after Tiger King, they don't really know what else to like share or talk about on Netflix. So it's basically, hey, we're gonna put hot people who all want to fuck together, and the whole show is about who can not fuck. Let me tell you something.
Right.
I'm great at not fucking. I didn't fuck for most of my life.
I'm the best. Some people say I'm the best.
You're the Jordan of not having sex.
I keep baiting you into doing the Trump impression. Some people say I'm the best at it.
He's the best. The best. Some people say the best. I say the best.
Some people say second best. I say the best.
Excellent. I love my favorite thing that he does is he does this with his hands.
Right.
He looks like a human emoji. Like the best emojis. We have the best of them. Some people say the best.
That is hilarious. I had to go out and say that I wanted the Trump impression. I had to actually request it. I couldn't trick you into doing it with mind control.
Just too fucking hyped about this ancient Fall of Civilizations podcast.
So all that happened before Julius Caesar. What age was he?
Julius Caesar.
He was in the
Iron Age.
Iron
Age. Yeah. So Julius Caesar was in the Iron Age. So here's the thing that's crazy is that so that's 2,000 years ago. When Julius Caesar went to the plain at Giza, pardon me, to see the pyramids.
I was about to say. Huh?
Oh, no. You're going to take my degree back from me. When he went to the plains at Giza to go see the pyramids were already ancient by the time he was there. So this is how far in the past we're talking, is that the pyramids were 1,000 years old, or pardon me, 3,000 years old by the time he got there, and that was 2,000 years ago. So, I mean, they were already, there's 1,000-year difference between us and him and him and them, basically. So it's crazy to think about.
Holy crap.
I know, right? And
well, do you think they had how do you think, let me just go on and say it, ancient aliens, yes or no?
You know what? Why not? Stranger things have happened.
Like Stranger Things.
Like Stranger Things. No.
What a sensation.
Not ancient aliens. This bullshit. Yeah, human beings.
Not Asian aliens.
Did you know an Asian alien earns $1.07 for every dollar a white man earns? There's no, you can't get it. You can't even say white man without sounding like a racist today.
I sure can. I don't say that. We'll be having callers, and we don't even accept callers on this show, but people will be calling in somehow.
Did you just say we don't accept coloreds on this show? Oh my gosh, man.
Well.
Yeah. I'm unemployed too now. So.
Yeah. You're going to make me lose a job I don't even have.
Oh my gosh, man. Well, let me tell you, it's been a blast again today, Lance. Who's on the Lancey Joe on Venmo show today?
I think my buddy might stop by. He lives in Vegas, but he kind of stops by randomly. We were talking about Michael Jordan's houses for sale, so we might start a fund ride. It's actually been on sale for a long time. It's out in the suburbs, and he's asking $19 million. So maybe I could get together something on Venmo, and I get a couple of small business loans like Chipotle, and throw it together.
I feel like it's the greatest time to create a corporation and then say you laid off, hundreds of people, because the government will give you millions of dollars.
I've laid off more people than Bill Batiste.
Oh my gosh, man. We got to get him on here one of these days.
Yeah, we definitely do. And people at home should play Bill Batiste bingo when we bring up Bill Batiste.
That's true.
You mark that off.
You take a shot every time you hear the name Bill Batiste on this podcast.
And Cats. He needs to be on there.
And the Russian Federation. I love Brian Rowe early in the show was like, you haven't mentioned Russia enough. And I was like, fair enough. I haven't. Like,
finally, it had to be said.
Somebody had to say it, and unfortunately, it fell to Brian Rowe. Lancey,
I'm surprised his AOL was re-upped enough to get that message through right now.
56K modem, what he's dialing up to.
Netscape.
Do you remember that horrible noise? I'm gonna tell
he's got a wooden Apple One. He's got the actual Apple One that Bill Gates and Steve Wozniak took to that convention. They're like, you're not gonna believe this.
Oh my God, man. Lancey, it's been great, man. We're at the hour, man. We're over the hour even. Check it out, the Lancey Joe on Venmo show, at Lancey Joe on Venmo show. And just send Lancey some money. You know what I mean? Just send him 25, 30, $40. He needs to try to buy Michael Jordan's house, which is rightfully his.
It is.
I'd say so. You already got the clothes to prove it, man. I saw you in that Bulls jersey. So
I've got a Bulls jersey hanging in my window now so that the streets can know.
The streets can know. All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Take it easy. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. PST, and 11 p.m. GMT. Peace, buddy. See you later.
Bye, y'all.